me now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so we're here with
Kim Allom from Defiant Development.
Thanks, Kim. And we're looking at Hand of Fate. So could you tell us just a little bit about what Hand of Fate is for those of us that haven't heard of it?
Definitely. So Hand of Fate is an action RPG roguelike game. So if you like card games and if you like action games and board games, then this is the game for you.
Alright, sweet. So we've had a little bit of a go of Hand of Fate. You sent us through a code, so we've had a bit of a preview of that already. Basically, how would you describe Hand of Fate from a gameplay perspective?
Sorry about the noise. We've got the League of Legends guys just going crazy over probably loot. Okay, so the gameplay of Hand of Fate is essentially a roguelike. So basically we've got randomly generated dungeons shown in the mechanics of cards. So you'll see here, we're currently in a shop at the moment, which is also represented by cards, but we'll get to the table scene, which is basically the dungeon layout scene, and you'll find that the map is each card is a particular encounter, either combat or non-combat encounters. So this is the card scene at the moment, and basically you venture through each card, and we'll see here, this is Dead Man's Gorge, and it's basically a combat encounter. The player here is going to transition into a 3D world where they're going to battle it out with the equipment that they've collected along the way. So right now, this young lady here is going to be facing 3 of dust. So that's our human type enemies. So once we finish the combat situation, scenario I should say, you will continue along with your journey, venturing through the cards, trying to find the boss of that level. And once you find that boss and hopefully defeat that boss, you will then go on to the next dungeon and try and defeat the next boss. There are 12 bosses to find and defeat, and once you defeat all 12 bosses, you have won the game.
Cool, so you mentioned bosses. I'm looking at this character that we're playing as now, and it looks pretty brutish. Is there like character customization, or is that the main character throughout the entire game?
So at this point, we're only focusing on the one player character, and that's due to restrictions in the in having an indie studio. So we're currently experimenting with customization, but at this point, it's just the one class.
Okay, I've seen that the combat mostly is like hand-to-hand, sort of swords, axes, that kind of thing. Do you have like, say, a ranged kind of weaponry set or any kind of magic, for example?
Yeah, definitely. So throughout your dungeon run, you might come across artifacts. Now these artifacts are generally magic. Or have magic elements, and one example is an artifact called the Democles. Now the Democles will shoot out magic knives in the cardinal direction and will effectively damage enemies surrounding you. We've also got magic weapons like Frost Fang that have a ranged attack in that it shoots out frost, and the Scorching Zeal, which is like a fire weapon that will shoot out fire.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So at the screen at the moment, it looks like there's like a whole bunch of cards lined up in a weird position. Could you choose which way you wanted to go? And do you have to choose all the cards, or is there like a secret path or something?
So basically, I'll take over the controller. So the way it works is once you've got this dungeon layout, you can go one card at a time. So I'm going to go jump on to the next card on the right there. And basically, you can visit as many cards as you want, but the semi-goal is to find the stairs to the next level. Once you get to the next level, your next goal is to find the boss of that particular level. When you get to the stairs, you can choose whether or not to keep exploring the cards that you've not yet come across, or you can just continue to go on and try and find the boss. Now, one thing that will determine your choice is how food works. So you'll see in the top left corner, I'll just point it out to you. Just here in this top left-hand corner is your inventory. And the food at the moment is, I've got 3. I've got 3 food. So basically, every time I take a step onto a new card, I'm consuming 1 food. When I get to 0 food, I actually start receiving damage. So I've got to strategically use my food and explore the dungeon, keeping in mind that I will be taking damage if I deplete my food source. So I'm going to go ahead and play Bandit Attack. That answers that question.
Alright, so we're watching a Bandit Attack at the moment.
Do you want someone else to play?
If you... I don't know.
This can be the footage. So with combat, we've taken lots of inspiration from games like the Batman Arkham series. We wanted to work with a combat system that was, tested and true, and that felt really good. So we've got a parry system as well as a counter system. And that final blow, that final slow motion hit, we find is really, really satisfying. And people at PAX are also in agreement with that. So after I finish an encounter, if it's a good result, usually I will get a gain card from the dealer. And in this case, one of the gain cards is a 25 gold. Woo! And then you continue on your merry way until you find the boss. We have been in development for the last 18 months, and we're very, very excited to launch in January 2015. In fact, we'll be the very first Australian indie developer to launch on major next-gen consoles. So at the moment, we're on PC, Mac and Linux with Steam Early Access, but we'll be coming to Xbox One and PS4 in January 2015.
Just a final question. So you mentioned that you're on early access. How much is it for people to pick up the game at the moment?
It's currently $25 on early access, and will probably be the same price releasing the console.
All right. Cool. Thank you for your time.
Thanks for having me.